Once again, our spring and summer series is dedicated in memory of Mrs. Edith Nussbaum Frumit Bat Yosef Allah Shalom Zichronah Livracha, was a really remarkable woman. So what I want to do is I want to continue what we started last week. Although last week we really focused on the concept of longing for Mashiach. Again, those that were here. Today I want to focus on what's it going to look like, and we're going to see two different schools of thought, and each one is going to have very interesting ramifications and very interesting different ways of looking at it. Okay, and then next week, which is hard to imagine, is actually our last week. Last times in summer school when it's truncated and abbreviated. I'm going to see if I can actually get to the topic of Olam Haba, and at least touch on the process of after death, judgment, Gog and Magog, and Chesed Mesa. If I could, at least even for a couple minutes, just to have some type of structure to it, so you understand a little bit more, as opposed to just throw out terms that are often done. So here we go. Well, I want to focus on what's it going to look like, and I'm going to use source number one as the springboard for perhaps using this. Could you tell me what life is going to look like? Okay, so here we go. Source number one. This is Psukim in Yeshayahu, some of which are quite famous, and some of which are much less famous. Here we go. V'yatza choter migeza ishai v'neitzer misharasha v'ifra. So it says the Psukim in Yeshayahu, what's going to happen? A choter migeza ishai, a son's going to sprout from the trunk of Yishai, v'neitzer misharasha v'ifra. And then again, this is it's poetry, so it's basically saying the same thing twice, right? And again, a type of sprouting from its roots will blossom. V'nacha alav ruach Hashem, and the Spirit of God will rest on this person. Ruach chochma uvinah, a spirit of wisdom and knowledge, ruach itzah ugvura, a spirit of insight and heroism, ruach da'at v'yiras Hashem, and the spirit of knowledge and God and the fear of God. Faricho b'yiras Hashem, and he'll have this smell, right, of the fear of God. V'lo l'mirma, lo l'mareh, there you go to the source sheet. Lo l'mareh einav yishpo, and he will not judge just based on what he sees. And not whatever he hears. Meaning, what's the idea behind it? You will judge things not just on what you hear, but based on your intelligence and your wisdom and your insight, right? And therefore, you will adjudicate justice to the poor and to the downtrodden and the needy. Now, this is important. He's going to smite the land. How? B'shevet piv. What's a shevet piv? What's a shevet? It's a staff. No, it's piv. His mouth. So it's a very strange. The phrase is, how will he be able to hika'eret? How will he smite the land through? Shevet piv, through the staff of his mouth. So maybe that's saying words. Okay. Uberos vasav yamis rasha, and through his speech he will be able to yamis rasha. He'll kill the wicked, the evil. And literally, a righteousness will go forth from his loins. Okay. V'gar ze'ev im kebes. A ze'ev is a wolf, will live with the sheep. V'namer im gdi yerbatz. And a namer is a tiger, right? A tiger will be with a gdi, a goat, right? Your butts will, frolic, right? Fine. Right? Again, other different types of various animals. Again, more animals. Fine. Next, the end of the pasuk. Kimal haaretz de'ah es Hashem. Because the land has literally been full of the knowledge of God. Kamam le'yamachasim. Just like miyam, the water, shall we say, traverses one end of the world to the other, so too will the knowledge of God. Okay. Now, I asked you a very simple question. How should we understand these psukim? Should they be understood literally or metaphorically? What do you think and why? Is this a metaphor? Is this an allegory? Or should this be understood literally? What do you think and what would be your proof? If it's literal understanding, then what is our perception of what these psukim are telling us? If it's literal, what's going to happen? Supernatural. Very good. Why supernatural? Because the second half of these psukim are not natural. The gar ze'ev im keves doesn't happen. there was actually, in the 19th century, the Russians actually built a... Did I tell us last week?
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Good line. Built a zoo because they saw themselves as ushering in the Messianic era. As I've mentioned before, most revolutions connect to the Messianism, and they built a zoo that had wild animals. It had lions, and it had sheep inside the cages. And when people asked, "How is it possible that there's sheep lying down with the lion?" what they say? Very simple. Every day they put in 2 of them. Right? Okay. And that's the idea is that it normally doesn't happen. Garzev keves, the wolf doesn't usually lie down with the lamb. It's just not normal. So again, is this miraculous? If it's literal, there's some type of miraculousness going on here. Okay? And what about our image of this person? What type of person is it going to be? Now here is something very interesting. The first few psukim, should they be understood literally? If they're understood literally, what type of person will this be? Be a great person, smart person, intelligent person, a righteous person, right? Those are the characteristics of such an individual. So, that leads the Gemara in source number 2 to be split. Says the Gemara, Amar Reb Chia bar Abba, Amar Rav Yochanan, Kol hanavim kulan lo nibu elemas Mashiach. If you open up Tanakh, all the Nevi'im are talking about Yos Mashiach. Aval olam haba, but when it comes to olam haba, ayin lo rasa lo kimz lo sacha. The prophets never speak about olam haba. Olam haba is something completely different. Something which ayin lo rasa. We've never seen it, except for God. So how can the Nevi'im describe olam haba? We see from here, there's 2 different stages. There's what's called Mashiach, and then there's something which is called Olam Haba. They're not the same.
So they're saying that this...
The Nevi'im, i.e. these Psukim Shayahu, are describing the times of Mashiach.
So not Olam Haba.
Not Olam Haba. Olam Haba is something which is potentially, possibly, supernatural. For because of Mashiach, unsure. But one thing which is for sure is Olam Haba is supernatural. Okay? And you will see actually, we won't get this maybe we'll talk about next week, there'll be a split among the Rishonim what Olam Haba will be like. Will we have our bodies or not have our bodies Olam Haba? But everyone will agree, even those who argue we will have a body, it will be a miraculous type of existence. It's not a regular existence, because the Gemara says that we're not going to eat, that we're not going to drink in Olam Haba. So then people ask, so why do you need a body for it? Okay, that's a very good question. But that's not for now. Okay, so again, I want to reiterate. Olam Haba is not described in Tanakh. That's Yemos HaMashiach. So all these psukim, and Yeshayahu, and Yirmiyahu, and Yecheskel, and all the great Nevi'im, and even, as we'll see, the Rishonim even say in the Chumash, and various references, are all describing the time of Mashiach. Olam Haba, nothing. Why? Who knows? We don't know what Olam Haba is going to be like. We have no idea. What's the line? I lo rasa. No one's seen it. How can you describe? You can't see. Except for God. Shmuel says no. Exactly what Shmuel argues over will be complicated, but I'll explain in a minute. Damar Shmuel, ein bein olam mazel limos Mashiach ela shiabud malchuyos bavad. Shenemar hilo yichtel avyon mekavert. Comes along Shmuel. Let's understand Shmuel in its most simple form. Shmuel is arguing, and he's saying, no. To describe Yemos HaMashiach is not a big deal. Because Yemos HaMashiach is going to be so similar to the way life is now. The only difference between Yemos HaMashiach and the world we live in now is Shibud Malchuyos. And since the Nevi'im are describing much more than that, you follow? The Nevi'im are describing Olam Haba. You follow? According to Shmuel, this is a simple way of understanding Shmuel, which will have to be redefined in a minute, but for now, the most obvious way of understanding it is, Shmuel argues and says, there's such a little difference between the world we live in today and Yemos HaMashiach, except for some political, no more political borders and maps. That's not what the Nevi'im were describing. The Nevi'im were describing much more of a grandiose picture. Therefore, says Shmuel, it must be Olam Haba. And the Nevi'im are describing Olam Haba. Machlokas, Rabbi Chia bar Abba, and Shmuel. And what's important about Shmuel, from our perspective of Mashiach, is there really is no difference between Moshe Mashiach and the way the world exists right now. Or right now in time of Shmuel, which is basically the same as right now too. Okay?
He's arguing that Yeshaya was talking about Olam Haba?
Yes. Now that would appear, that makes sense. That's how you read the Gemara. Not the way it's read according to the Rambam. The Rambam says, wrong. Here's what the Rambam writes. What will the world be like according to the Rambam? Let's listen to the Rambam very carefully. I think we read some of this last week already, right? Maybe? I don't remember how far we got. But here we go. Take a look at the Rambam. The Rambam writes. Now, what's very interesting with the Rambam is that the Rambam writes a lot about these topics. Well, the Moshe Mashiach, in great detail, in the last 2 chapters of Hilchos Malachim, which is the very, very, very end of his work, his Mishnah Torah. So you have to get to it at the end. And we have in our hands today a part that was censored, that disappeared for hundreds of years, that we now reclaimed. And the reason why it was reclaimed was because it wasn't centered in the Muslim countries, because the Muslims either didn't care, or they were illiterate and they couldn't read it. And the printing press in the hands of the Christians, and they would be very offended by what was said by the Rambam, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Fascinating. Let's take a look. So again, what does the Rambam say? Take a look at this. Let's begin in source 3. So again, what are we looking for? We are looking for what will life be like in the times of Mashiach. Here we go. I just realized, in order to do that properly, turn the page. Let's actually go to source 4. We'll come back to source 3, because source 3 describes who is Mashiach, which I also want to get to now. But I've begun working on what will life be like. So I want to finish with that theme and not go back and forth. So what will life be like? Take a look at source 4. All Yaleh, this is in the 12th chapter. All Yaleh al Halev. Don't think for 1 second the world is going to be different. The world is going to be the exact same, meaning natural. There'll be some type of miraculous recreation. No. Ella olam kiminhago noheg. The world will be and exist as is. Okay? So what's the problem? Yeah, but Rambam, it says in Yeshayahu that the Ze'ev will live with the garden of Merim Keves. How's it going to be? Ze'evim Keves. How's it going to be? How can the Ze'ev live with a goat? Or how can a wolf fly with a lamb? How's it possible? Answer. Possession of Yeshayahu, the garden of Keves, when Merim Gedi your boss. Mashal v'chida. Says the Rambam, it's an allegory. Don't think for 1 second that these animals are going to live in coexistence. He goes, that's not natural. And since Moshe Mashiach is in au natural, talking what it's going to be like. So what's the allegory? What does it mean? Answer. Inyan davar. This is what it means. Shiyu Yisrael yoshvin lavbetach im mish'ei akum hamoshlim kize'ev. Says the Rambam. No allegory! And it means, let's go back to the Chad Gadya theme. Chad Gadya is saying there's a goat, there's a kid, and this kid gets devoured. That's the story of Chad Gadya, right? Says the Rabbi, in Yemusa Mashiach, the Ahmadinejads and the PA and the Hamas will sing and dance with Benjamin Netanyahu. Right? They will all coexist. There'll be no political enmities. There'll be no tension between political entities. Right? That's the way it's going to be. Shenemar, Nikotz Pasuk. V'yachzir kulam ledasa emes. Now, everyone will return to the correct religion. Doesn't mean necessarily that they're all going to become like Hasidic Jews, right? The whole world, I mean, right? Doesn't mean that. There won't be steal, there won't be thievery. Meaning, by the way, is that miraculous? It's not miraculous. So it should be. Right? It's not miraculous that people don't steal. Right? People shouldn't steal. Ella yochlu davar hamutar benachas im Yisrael. Everyone will eat what's permissible. Meaning, it doesn't mean kosher food. It's in that everyone will eat what belongs to them and not what is stolen. Okay? Because when you steal something, to some extent, it's also a lack of political entity, right? Meaning, if I hate you and you hate me, we go to war, we take from you, you take from me. So this notion of this political peace and tranquility will also exist on the individual level, not just the national level. Says the Rambam. Okay, fine. And he says all these things are allegories. Second last line. Okay, fine. And that's what it means. There's a problem. I think I might have touched on this. Actually, no, I didn't get this last week. Comes on the Ravid and says, Rambam, how can you be right? It's a pasuk in the Torah. Says the Torah, says the Ravid. Al Yaleh Alev Shebimosa Mashiach or Mishalim. Amar Avraham. Says the Ravid the following. Halo Batorah. Ve'shavti chaya min haaretz. Calls on the Ravid and raises his hand and says, Rambam, I have a problem with you. You want to understand Yeshayahu as an allegory? You want to understand V'gar ze'iv im keves as non-literal? I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with something else. How are you going to explain a pasuk in Chumash, in the Torah, which says, V'shavti chaya min haaretz? That I will what? V'shavti, word Shabbos. I will cease, right? There will no longer be wild animals in the land. The Rambam, how we understand that pasuk? Meaning, the Ravid is bothered by Rambam's understanding of a non-literal interpretation in the Chumash. I'll repeat. The Rambam understands Psukim Yeshayahu as an allegory. No problem. But the question is, can you take Psukim in the Torah and understand them as an allegory? Is that dangerous? This is a very complicated topic, which, by the way, needs its own shir. Can you understand Psukim in the Torah and understand them allegorically, not literally? The Rambam does in many places. That's what he understands Ma'aseh Bereishis, right? Which means don't take a day to mean a day, right? Don't take or to mean or, right? It means could mean other things, especially Ma'aseh Bereishis. That's the approach of the Rambam. The Ravid says, wait, stop. How do you understand a pasuk? V'shavti chaya min haaretz. How do you understand that wild animals are going to cease from the land? I want to pause and digress because this is an attack question, which has very interesting attack question. First of all, just from the pedagogical perspective, it's interesting because it seems to imply that the Rambam wants to interpret this pasuk allegorically. Although the Rambam never says it, but it's implied. And two, we see the Ravid is very much bothered by psukim that are understood allegorically in the Torah. No one has a problem with allegorical interpretation in Nach, but some people will have a problem in the Torah. That's okay. I want to resolve this. It's a very simple understanding, and that is a very easy way to understand the pasuk. V'shavti chaya. Do you understand that pasuk literally, but not miraculously? You follow? Everyone understand my question? Is there a way to understand this pasuk V'shavti chaya min haaretz as literal and not metaphorical? How? It won't bother people. That's exactly what the Ramban says. The Ramban sees this pasuk and says, "Oh yeah, this pasuk could be talking about Mashiach from the end of Bechukosai, but it's not a problem. Why is that miraculous?" Here's a very important Ramban. Now the Ramban doesn't say this. Ramban is saying this. Go to source number 9 and source number 10. Number 9 is where that pasuk comes from. Number 10 is the following. You see where it says line 4, line 5? The second part of this Ramban we're going to come back to because it's a very important Ramban. But the first part says, V'shavti chaya min haaretz, you see line 4? Al das Rabbi Yehuda she'amar ma'avrim min ha'olam. Hu kipshuto. Shelo yavo chayos shos bartzam. Says the Ramban, this pasuk isn't a complicated pasuk. There be no wild animals in the land of Israel. Why is that so complicated to understand? It's not miraculous. Why is it not miraculous? And he says, the Ramban says, that's according to Rabbi Yehuda's, it's Torah's Kohanim, it's brought down the Medrash. That what? How can there be no wild animals in Haaretz, in the land of Israel? There will be no wild animals in the entire world. There won't be lions and lions and bears. Did I get that right? Thank you. Lions and tigers and bears in the roaming around Israel.
That's miraculous, though.
Oh, He says, why not? I would think so too. No, he says. He says, why? Ki behiyos, second line. Hasova ubirabos, since everyone will be so satiated. Hiyos arim milios adam. The cities will be filled with people. There'll be no room for animals. Animals roam and only go to places that are inhabited by humans when there's no food for them. So they're desperate. When there's a bear on a campsite, either it got lost or it's looking for food. But if there's an abundance of food, which, by the way, is during the time of Moshe Mashiach, from a natural perspective, right? There'll be an abundance of food, right? That places that were desert are now sprouting with food. So there's so much food, there are no wild animals in the cities, because wild animals only go to places where humans live when they're looking for food. And if they have enough food, they'll leave the humans alone. That's what the Ramban says. Animals won't go to the yeshuv. Animals won't go to the villages and the cities. They're not interested in going, walking down Bathurst Street. It's not fun. They want to hang out in, in parks where there's big trees. And they don't want to hear honking of cars or camels or whatever they were. That's not fun. Right? Very interesting interpretation. Okay? So again, even the Ramban, you'll see why I'm saying even the Ramban, will say that this pasuk in the Torah could be understood literally and not miraculously. Okay, so let's go back now. So again, back to the Rambam. The Rambam holds that everything will be au natural, and you could even take psukim in the Torah which describe Yemos HaMashiach. The Rambam could say that's fine. Au natural. Everything is au natural.
So he agrees with Shmuel?
Excellent question. It appears that he agrees like Shmuel, but it's more complicated than that. Because remember what I said about Shmuel? That Shmuel is saying what?
This is going to be the same.
Very good. But remember what I said also? But that the Nevi'im are talking about Olam Haba. And the Rambam is quoting Psukim Yeshayahu from Moshe Mashiach. That would be a contradiction in the Rambam. Yes. Okay, very good. Okay. Again, the Rambam Hilchos Tshuva. Oh, sorry, we didn't finish this. Let's go back to Halacha Beis in the Rambam, number 4. Amru Chachamim, Ein ben olam hazeh Mashiach, ela shiabud mochios bovad. Who does he quote word for word, the Rambam here? Shmuel. The Rambam quotes Shmuel. Shmuel says, there's no difference between the world today and Yemos HaMashiach, except for shiabud mochios, political entities. But there's a problem with that, and that Shmuel also seemed to imply that therefore the Nevi'im were describing Olam Haba. We see that the Rambam has a hybrid approach. The Rambam takes Shmuel literally and applies it to Yemos HaMashiach, and that the Psukim in the Navi are describing Yemos HaMashiach. Whereas Shmuel seemed to imply that the Psukim in the Navi were describing Olam Haba. The Rambam will disagree. Now, you could interpret the Gemara that Shmuel is not arguing on that part, but it's not so simple to explain that way. That's the whole complicated understanding.
How is he agreeing with Shmuel?
He agrees with Shmuel that Yemos HaMashiach will be no different,
But
except for this. No.
Didn't he just say that?
No. Who said that?
If he's quoting these Psukim in Yeshayahu,
Not miraculous. The fact that the political entities will be all natural. The Rambam is Yemos HaMashiach is all natural. And who does he quote? Shmuel. The Yemos HaMashiach is natural. That there's no problem with. Yemos HaMashiach is natural. The fact that Shmuel seemed to imply, therefore, the Psukim we're talking about Olam Haba, the Rambam also will disagree with. He's got to reinterpret Shmuel. Okay. The question that I asked, that internal contradiction, is source number 7. It's asked by the Merkeves HaMishnah on the Rambam, that it appears that the Rambam picking and choosing what he wants to take from Shmuel. He's not taking Shmuel in its entirety, but picking and choosing. And he says, well, he's not bothered by it. And he has a type of resolution where, and the Ravid, the Ridbaz in source number 8 is also bothered by this seemingly contradiction. I don't want to get into it right now because I want to stay in focus. Okay? The Rambam has to figure out his contradiction. At the end of the day, he just reinterprets the Shmuel and the Gemara, and he has sources to back himself up, and that's fine. So again, I want to reiterate, the Rambam's point is, he's essentially arguing very clearly and very distinctly that, you know what? the most from Mashiach will be natural, with the exception of this political split and divide, and that people won't steal, people won't rob, and there'll be a sense of peace and tranquility, and there'll be food in abundance, and the animals maybe won't enter the land of Israel, if you want to borrow from the Ramban, whatever the case is. That's the way he understands it. Wonderful. What type of leader is this Mashiach going to be? So let's go and see how the Rambam understands the leader. Now, this is very simple. How does it describe Mashiach? It describes Mashiach as being fear of God and fearful and das Hashem and a good, from, outstanding Jew. Matter says before, Mashiach has to be a man because it's a king, right? So, sorry. Here we go. Look at source 3. Here's the Rambam is now giving us a resume. What's the resume of Mashiach? Right? Before I even get to the interview, wait, are you Mashiach? You meet the resume? Now, once that when you give a job interview, you produce a resume. But just because you have a resume and you get the job doesn't mean that you're doing a good job. The Rambam will describe that even though you might have the right resume, you could still have the right resume, get the job Mashiach, and fail. It's pretty shocking. Who's he going to use as the example? Bar Kochva. Okay? So again, the Rambam, I want to explain this outside first. The Rambam is going to say, this is what the Mashiach needs to have, be part of. He's going to give you the whole resume. Like Bar Kochva. But since Bar Kochva didn't finish the job, didn't work out. He wasn't the right guy. Could have been. Might have been. Didn't work out. Why not? He was the wrong guy. Maybe we weren't ready. We were. Okay? That doesn't explain. Take a look at source 3. Return Jewish sovereignty. It's a political entity. He will build the Beis Hamikdash and gather the Jews from around the world. And the law will return just like the way it used to be. Makrivin korbanos will offer sacrifices. According to the Rambam, you actually can offer a sacrifice today in the modern era. According to the Rambam, you know what korban you bring today? Korban Pesach. Okay? And we keep Shemitah and Yovel. So today we know that Shemitah is only the Rabbanan, it's not the Raisa. According to the Rambam. And this, again, I'm not going to deal with now because this was our major topic last week. And it goes to Pasuk, that was last week's topic. I'm not getting into that again. Skip down, please, to 3. No, let's just go to the next one. Halacha Gimel. Don't think Mashiach is going to start doing miracles. Again, makes sense. Why? Because what does the Rambam hold? What's going to be natural? So Mashiach will do naturally. Mashiach will be just a natural guy. He's not going to pull a rabbit out of his hat. He's not going to make the sun rise in the west. Be careful, right? Oh, Mechaya Meisi v'tzidimelu ein hadavar ken. Not at all. And here's our example. Hare Rabbi Akiva was a chacham gadol. Mechachmei HaMishnah. Rabbi Akiva was a great sage from the sages of the Mishnah. And he literally was the schlepper. He carried around the weapons of Bar Koziba, which was Bar Kochva. Rabbi Akiva, the great Tana, thought that Bar Kochva was the Mashiach. Rabbi Akiva was all the Gedolim of the time. Ad shenerag bavonos. Until he was killed because of his sins. Question: will Mashiach die? Or will Mashiach live forever? Very good. If he dies a natural death, then he goes to Mashiach. If he's neherag, it means he wasn't Mashiach. You follow? Very good. That's what many people want to say in this Rambam. Okay? Kevan shenerag nudalam sheino. Since he was killed, shows that he wasn't Mashiach. No one came to him and said, "Hey, produce to me a miracle. Produce to me a son that you're the Mashiach." The laws of the Torah are forever. Things are not going to change. You don't need to produce miracles. You don't add or diminish from the mitzvahs of the Torah. I'm not sure how much you're aware of this. There was a time a few hundred years ago by a gentleman named Shabtai Tzvi. Shabtai Tzvi was a false messiah, and he wanted to argue that certain commandments are no longer binding. That is when major rabbi said, "Bye, you're not the Mashiach," because they're the Rambam. Convinced people, anyways. In the end, he became Muslim. So the guy comes up and says, "I'm the Mashiach, and therefore we could eat pigs." He's wicked. He's an epikoros. Fine, wonderful. Next, we're good. Halacha Dalet. Here's a guy. He's from the house of David. And he engaged and he learns Torah, just like David HaMelech, his father, his ancestor. He teaches and he follows the way of Torah himself. And he's able to convince the Jews to strengthen their commitment to Torah. Now, why is he saying V'yilachem milchamos Hashem? Does that mean he's going to take a gun and kill people? Not necessarily, because remember the psukim that we saw in Yeshayahu? That how will he be able to convince people to fall in the ways of God? Through his mouth. Harei me a great orator, a great speaker, perhaps. Now the Rambam says a guy who's able to do these things, there's a chazaka that leads to Mashiach. What does a chazaka mean, ladies? Look at an example. I brought you sushi. I know that it was kosher. What?
It's from JLIC.
So it's from the last. It's not kosher. So what we say is the following. What do you mean? It came wrapped up with Scotch tape that had on it Delight, COR 321, whatever the number is. That means it's a chazaka that the food is kosher, right? That's pretty good chazaka. No. What about if someone were to see me go to I can't tell you a non-kosher sushi restaurant, sushi, whatever, right? Sushi, non-kosher restaurant called sushi, and you fill up a tray of mamish non-kosher sushi, so filled with sea fish and seafood and all that stuff, and I wrap it up using the Delight tape, and I bring that in. So someone saw me do that. The fact that it has the tape on it ain't good enough. Because they're like, wait a second, you didn't get that you got that from sushi. How do you know? I saw you. Why are you doing that? Anyways, right? But what I'm trying to say is a chazaka means, yeah, that's a great proof. We live by chazakas. Everything we do is by chazaka. Right? How do you know the food that your mother gives you is kosher? It's a chazaka. Right? You saw the guy shachting. You saw she went to, you saw her go to Sobeys. Yeah, you assume kosher, right? You see the wrapping. You say, "Mom, the chicken was great. Can I see the wrapping that you brought? Your mother's going to slap you if you do that, right? You can't do that. It's not nice." So we live by chazaka. So says the Rambam. If he's this type of person, chazaka, he's Mashiach. Yeah, good. 90%, 95%. That's good enough. Im asav yitzliach v'nitzech kol ha'umos she'sevivav ubon ha'mikdash. So if he has the resume, Chazaka Mashiach. Then if he accomplishes these three things, he's Mashiach Bevadai. What are the things he needs to do? Defeat the enemies again. How? Unclear. Beis Hamikdash and Kibbutz Golios. Everyone returns back. That, if he does that, we give you a stamp. You know those little tags? Hi, I'm a Mashiach. Right? Those stickers? There you go. And if he doesn't, then he gets killed. He's a great guy. He's like a king of David who shlamim and kosher, but he died, which is very unfortunate, very sad. Skip down with me 2 lines. This is shocking. Are you ready? This is the part that was edited, censored. This was censored. Remember, the printing press is in the hands of the Christians. Jews have to be very careful what they wrote about. Many things were censored, including the Talmud and Kedushim, including parts of the Gemara as well. This was censored from the Rambam. But after the second word, you'll know why. Af Yeshu Hanotzri. Even who? Jesus of Nazareth. Shedime Shiyeh Mashiach. People thought it was Mashiach. V'negrag b'Beis Din. The Rambam says he was killed by Beis Din. This is very problematic. Because he probably wasn't killed by Beis Din. He was killed by the Romans. What do you mean he was killed by Beis Din, right? So that's where the Romans get that from? The Christians. Because the Christians wanted to say the Jews killed Jesus. Why? Because they don't want to say they killed Jesus. Because that doesn't look good. Better to blame deicide on the Jews than on the Romans. They did that. So the Rambam, perhaps, the Rambam didn't know. What did the Rambam know about what happened 1,000 years earlier from a historical perspective that was documented by the... So he just went along with their history, but most people say that it's Jews didn't kill Jesus. The Romans killed Jesus. Fine. Kvar nis nabe about Daniel. Daniel already described the person like this. Shnamar Rabbi that Daniel spoke about a guy who is going to rise to the top and who will fail, meaning it'll be a trick, i.e., says the Rambam. Wow, that sounds like Jesus. Is there a better stumbling block and an error than Jesus? All the prophets speak about that the Mashiach will redeem those people. And what will the Mashiach do? Strengthen the Jewish people, ingather the nations. And all Jesus did, all Christianity did was cause destruction and dispersion and suffering. And la'achlif haTorah. Because what do the Christians say? That they have a new covenant. There's a new testimony, right? Supposed to be the Old Testament. Now there's a New Testament. The Old is what is gone, and the new is what is invoked, says the Christians, right? And therefore, says the Rambam, that's a Mashiach. The very foundational component of Mashiach, he didn't accomplish. Now you understand why it was edited by the Christian. Why? So the question is, was it edited by the censors, or did the Jews edit it before it went to the printing press? That's an interesting concept, right? The Jews were pretty smart. Like, wait a second, we're going to give this thing to get printed. That's not going to work so well, right? So it could be they self-edited a lot of things as well. We know that from a few other sources. They self-edited a couple things in the Gemara. When they spoke about Jesus, they wrote other words for obvious reasons. Okay? However, fine. Oh, sorry. But what did Jesus do? He made other people serve God, but he made people serve other foreign gods, but not God himself. But listen to this. This is unbelievable. Aval. We do not understand the thought of God. Our ways aren't his. We don't think the same way. And all the things of Jesus of Nazareth, who's that referring to? Muhammad. Shamar Achav, that came later. Muhammad lived in the 7th century. Einan, what's the purpose of Muhammad and Jesus? Liyasher derech lemelech haMashiach. It helps prepare the way of Mashiach. V'lasakin esa'olam kulo lavodas Hashem b'yichud. And it will help ultimately with the idea of monotheism. Why? Because how do you go from paganism to Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad? You need a bridge. And how did that bridge get into place? Through Christianity. Let's face it, they spread the idea of Messiah. That really was done through Christians and through Muslims throughout the world, not the Jews. Okay? Shnamar Koifani quotes a pasuk. Alright, fine. I'm not going to continue reading here. I like reading that part. It's not connected to our topic, but it's a fascinating comment by the Rambam. How, I'll say something good about Christianity and Islam, and that is, at least it prepares the world for Yemos HaMashiach. Okay, fine. So what do we see from here? We see the approach to the Rambam. How am I going to finish in 5 minutes? We see here the approach to the Rambam is, but we will, that au natural, both Mashiach and the time period. Clear? Clear. Comes on the Ramban and says, no. Ladies, please skip to source 10. Now we're doing the second half. Says the Ramban. The Ramban is about to describe what life would like in times of Mashiach. Thu Nachon. Ki tihye Eretz Yisrael be'es kiyum hamitzvos. Kasher haya ha'olam mischilasu kodem cheto shel adam harishon. Comes along the Ramban and says, I'm going to tell you what life is going to be like in Mashiach. Now, it's not going to be like supernatural, like we're like flying everywhere. That's not what he's referring to. But it will revert back to pre-sin. So reverting back to Gan Eden. Lifnei Achet. Ein chaya v'remes mimis adam. Where animals don't have any aggression. According to the 6 days of creation, what do animals eat? Veggies. since animals eat veggies, they're all herbivores, and humans actually ate fruit. Right? Therefore, when you return back to this Gan Eden existence, again, now, is that natural or not natural? Meaning, for the Ramban, it's actually the way it's supposed to be. It's the ultimate natural existence. You follow? Where animals can coexist, both with each other and with humans. So the Pasuk, Vigar, Ze'ev, Im Keves, is understood literally. Now, is this a supernatural miracle? For the Ramban, I wouldn't call it supernatural. It's the way the world should be and was ideally created. Pre-Chet. Post-Chet, after eating from the Eitz Hadas Tov Hara, there exists tension between the human kingdom and the animal kingdom, between animals themselves, between humans themselves. All of that, for the Ramban, is a result of the Chet of Adam Rishon. That's not the way it should have been. So for the Ramban, Yemos Mashiach will bring us back to the Messianic era of pre-Chet in Gan Eden, which he just said.
What's his stance on like Korbanos and Beis HaMikdash? Would we be sacrificing animals?
The Ramban, yes, yeah, we will. Yeah, good question. Okay. Oh, so by the way, why? Remember that pasuk that spoke about Vishafti Chayara Min Haaretz? So for the Ramban, so there'll be no wild animals roaming your land because they're not wild, right? Okay. That's what he says. In Chayav Commotion Amar, Ein Arod Memis, Ella Chet Memis. In Arod is a wild animal. They don't kill, but sin kills. Meaning Chet Harishon, Adam Rishon kills. Okay, fine. V'zesh Amar Kasu v'shashay Yonek al Chur Patan v'chen Para v'dov Terena v'eg Bakar Yochal Teven Kilo Yaterf b'chayot aros. There'll be no all these wild animals. I don't even know what these animals are called, right? These wild beasts of some sort, coyotes and cheetahs. It's machlokas exactly to translate them. All these wild animals, they're not going to be wild anymore. They'll be able to literally have in the same cage a wolf and a lamb. Is that the joke? Rak mipnei chet'o shel Adam. And this is what he says, that because of the sin of Adam, ki nigzar alav lios teref lishnehem. That there was a concept of a wild beast, right? And there was a sense of prey, and there was a sense of predators. And we'll go back to that stage. Okay, fine. No, we get his point. And again, he neighbors us shalom shenemar. Okay, fine. He says it again. The Teva Harishon. Okay, fine. Quotes it again. Good enough for our purposes. Okay, so we see here machlokas, very fundamental machlokas in the Rambam and the Ramban. What will life look like? So even for the Ramban, I want to be clear here. The Ramban, he's saying that the world is going to be still normal, meaning that like I got to eat, I have to sleep, I still have to like discipline my kids, right? But it's going to be a different type of existence. You're not going to have. So he almost takes this, no political strife in a super literal sense, like not even among the animal kingdom. Not even, you follow? So we almost a super tranquility, right? Of pre-Chet existence. So was Adam living a supernatural existence in Gan Eden before the Chet? Well, see, the problem is that should have been natural. To some extent, post-Chet was not natural. That's what the Ramban is the ones that argue, right? So that's an interesting way of looking at it between the two. Okay, we're going to stop there for today. The Ramban elucidates on this also in sources 11 and in 18, which are actually the exact same source twice. I just realized that. And maybe we'll pick up next week. Should I do contradictions? Okay, we'll see. I might just touch up a little bit of Mashiach. I'm not sure. I don't think I will. I think I'll probably just move on. I think we understand these two approaches, and maybe perhaps next week we can talk a little bit about, okay, so then what is Olam Haba going to look like, and what's it going to be, and what's kind of the order. And you'll see the machlokas, this machlokas in Ramban and Rambam spills over in the next few stages of life. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.